Okay, January is 71313, February is 82382, March is 53113. So what is the logic behind the numerical codes for each of those months? And using that logic, what would be the number for September? Post your answers in the comments below. Good luck. Hello, welcome to GCSE Maths with Cam. First of all, I hope you're all well, healthy and safe. And the problem for this week, once you have the answer, just leave your answer in the comments below and then I can have a look at it. Right then, so before we begin, these are your 5 warm-up questions. We could like to call these the 5 a day. Okay, so press pause, give yourselves roughly about 10 minutes. Have got these 5 questions, show your workings out and write down the units for each answer as well, please. 10 minutes, let's give it a go. Brilliant, well done. So let's start off with everyone's favourite, the algebra question. Right, before I start a question like this, I like to remind myself of what the equation is telling me. So W is a letter, and why do we have letters in equations? So the reason we have letters in equations is because they represent numbers that we don't yet know. And the aim of solving this equation is to work out what that number is. So let's read the equation. 4 lots of a number that we don't know plus 7 is equal to 15. I'm sure there are tons of different methods you can use to solve this, but my favourite method is change side, change sign. Whenever we take a term across to the other side of the equal sign, it changes sign. So I'll start off with taking the plus 7 over to the right hand side. Because it was positive, it will now change sign and become negative. So that plus 7 becomes negative 7. That means I'm left with 4W on the left hand side and 15 minus 7 on the right hand side. 15 take away 7 is 8. So 4W is equal to 8. So my next step is to take the 4 over. On the left hand side it was multiplied. So the right hand side it becomes a divide. So W is 8 divided by 4, which is 2. Okay, which leads us to question number 2. Work out the area of the triangle. Now a lot of students, when they see area, they just multiply as many numbers together as they possibly can. Every single shape has its own particular formula for working out the area. So the formula for working out the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. So the base in this case is 7 and the height is 4. That's the formula, base times height divided by 2. Now I can simply substitute the base and the height into the formula. And that comes to 28 divided by 2, which is 14. Because it's an area, the units must be squared, centimeters squared. Right, question number 3. We have 2 angles in between parallel lines. So according to the rules of angles between parallel sides, the 2 angles that make a Z shape are called alternate angles, and they are equal to each other. Now that's really helpful because now I can make an equation and equate both of those angles together. So 2x plus 50 is equal to 4x minus 20. Again, I'm going to use my preferred method of change side, change sign. And I always begin with taking the lesser number of letters over to the other side. So in this case, on the left hand side I have 2x, and on the right hand side I have 4. So I'm going to begin with taking the 2x over to the right hand side, which makes it minus 2x. So let's write that out. 50 is equal to 4x minus 20 minus 2x. I have two terms which are like terms, 4x and minus 2x, so I can take them away, which gives me 50 is equal to 2x minus 20. I want to work out what x is, so I will take the minus 20 to the left hand side to make it plus 20. So 50 plus 20 is now equal to 2x. 50 add 20 is 70. And lastly, let's divide that 70 by 2. So x is equal to 35. Right, so x is equal to 35. That's going to help me work out 2x plus 50. So 2 times 35 plus 50 is equal to 70 add 50, which is 120. Because it's an angle, I need to make sure I have my degree sign there to represent that it's 120 degrees. Brilliant, let's move on to question number 4. Vertices literally just means corners. How many corners does a square-based pyramid have? And that just becomes a counting exercise. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 corners, 5 vertices. Right, let's move on to question number 5 now. If James earns £12 per hour and he works for 19 hours in 1 week, that means in 1 week he would have earned £228. And then James very kindly gives 10% of his £228 to his sister. So if I work out 10% of £228, I can do that by simply dividing by 10, because 10% times 10 is 100%. I divide that by 10, he gives £22 and 80 pence to his sister. Okay, so if you want to check your answers, again, if anything doesn't make sense, make a comment below and I can go through it further. Right, today's lesson is all about averages. And averages to do with frequency table. And we'll begin with looking at the easier ones, which are mode, median and range, and then develop onto mean from a table. Okay, so let's begin. So here's your first question, guys. Which set of numbers has a mean of 5? You've got a choice between A, B, C or D. Press pause, give yourself 30 seconds and then we'll go for the answer. Fantastic, well done. So first of all, what is the mean? The mean average is basically the total of all the numbers divided by the frequency. That means what they all add up to divided by however many there are. and we want the mean to be exactly 5. Right, in each of the questions there are 4 numbers. Okay, so the number that I will be dividing by is 4. So all I need to work out is what total divided by 4 is equal to 5. And I can do a multiplication. 4 times 5 gives me 20. Therefore, I want to find 4 numbers that total 20. Okay, so 1 add 2 add 3 add 6 is 12. 5 add 5 add 5 add 9 is 24. 3 add 4 add 6 add 7 is 20, which is the answer that we're looking for. And I could do the last one to check my work. So 4 add 5 add 5 add 10 is 24. So the answer there was C. Well done. Right, this is a nice question. We've got 4 sets of numbers, and I need to find out which set gives me a median of 3 and a range of 4. Okay, so press pause, give yourself 30 seconds, and then we'll go for the answer. Right, so to remind you, the median is the middle number when we put them all in order from biggest to smallest. And the range is the difference between the biggest and the smallest. So the first thing I want to do here is write these data sets in order from biggest to smallest. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 6. B and C are already in order, and the last one 1, 3, 3, 4 and 5. Because there are 5 numbers in each set, the middle number would be the third number. Now if you struggle to work out which number is your median number or the middle number, there's a little calculation that you can do, and that is the place value of the biggest plus the place value of the smallest divided by 2. So in this case it would be 5 is the biggest place value and 1 is the smallest place value, and divide that by 2. 5 add 1 is 6 divided by 2, which is 3. So it's the third number is a middle number. Right, so let's go ahead and circle the third number in each one of those data sets, put it in order, and that is my median. Straight away I can see C cannot be the right answer. The range is the biggest, take away the smallest. So for A, the biggest number is 6, take away the smallest number, which is 1, which is 5. The range for the next set is 4, take away 1, which is 3. And lastly, the range for D is 5, take away 1, which is 4. So the range, which is equal to 4, is set D. Excellent, well done. So let's move on to the next question. Right, from the data set above, which of these is true? And we've got a choice between A, B, C or D. So press pause, give yourselves 30 seconds and we'll go for the answer. Right, what I like to do with a question like this is start off with writing the numbers in order. And that's important because I can easily identify the mode and the median. So let's do that. 0, 4, 4, 8, 9, 11. Right, so the range is the biggest, take away the smallest. 11, take away 0, which is a nice number, 11. Mode is the most popular, or the most frequent, in this case it's 4. And the median is the middle number. So I like to do this by crossing off the smallest and the biggest until I come to the middle. Now in this case I've got two numbers in the middle, and when you have two numbers in the middle, add them together and divide by 2. So 4 and 8 is 12, divided by 2 is 6. And lastly, the mean average is the total divided by the frequency, and that adds up to 36. There are 6 numbers in total, so the mean is 6. Right, so therefore D would be my correct answer because we have a mean of 6 and a mode of 4. Right, okay, so this table here shows us the frequency of golf scores. So using that table, you want to work out what the modal score is, the mode score. Right, give yourselves 30 seconds, press pause, and then we'll go for the answer. Right, so the mode, if we remind ourselves, just means the most common or the most frequent. So the score, which has the highest frequency, is 2. Therefore, we say the mode for that particular table would be 2, which is D. Right, this table here shows the frequency of shoe sizes from size 8 all the way to size 13. So what is the mode for this table? Press pause, give yourselves 30 seconds, and then we'll go for the answer. Right, brilliant, well done. So to remind ourselves, mode means most frequent. So in this case, it can be tricky because both columns have numbers. But the number that tells us which one is a mode is the column that says frequency. So the highest frequency is 18, which tells us the shoe size, which is the most common, is shoe size 10. So therefore B would be your right answer. Okay, so this table here shows the frequency for different age numbers. So the first one is the 11-year-olds all the way up to the 16-year-olds. So what is the median for this table? Is it A, B, C or D? Press pause, give yourselves 30 seconds, and then we'll go for the answer. Right, fantastic. So the median means the middle number when they are in order from smallest to biggest. If I was to write down the order of the numbers, it would be quite cumbersome, and you can see it would take me a long time, and I would need a lot of paper to do this. Okay, so instead we work out which row the middle value or the median would be. So there are 30 numbers altogether. So 30 numbers altogether. So 30 plus 1 divided by 2 is 15.5. That means the 15.5th value would be our middle number or the median. So the first row contains all the numbers from the 1st to the 6th, and the second row contains all the numbers from the 7th number to the 13th number, and the third row from the 14th to the 18th, and the fourth from the 19th number to the 25th number, and the fifth row is the 26th to the 28th, and the last row is just two numbers, the 29th number and the 30th number. So the row that contains the 15.5th number would be this row over here, between the 14th and the 18th number, which means the median is 13. So the age that is a median is age 13 years. Right, so the next three questions are based around the same data set. So we're looking at how we can apply our knowledge of averages to this one particular table. Right, okay, so let's get started. SSDD. Right, so this table could represent the number of cars in each household on a particular street. So there would be 3 houses with no cars, 6 houses with 1 car, 18 houses with 2 cars, and 3 houses with 3 cars. Right, so your first question is, what is the modal number of cars? Press pause, give yourselves a couple of minutes, and then we'll go for the answer. Okay, the modal number of cars means the highest frequency. So which number of cars has the most frequency, is most frequent? And it's quite evident from the table that the highest frequency is 8 or 2 cars in a household, so the modal number would be 2 cars. Brilliant. Okay, have I got this question then? So the same table, a different question now. How many cars are owned altogether? So press pause, give yourselves a couple of minutes, and then we can go for the answer. Right, if there are 3 houses with no cars, in total, how many cars do they have? The answer is 0. If there are 6 houses that have 1 car each, in total, they have 6 cars. If there are 18 houses that each have 2 cars, in total, they have 36 cars. And if there are 3 houses with 3 cars each, they have 9 cars. If I add these numbers up, that will tell me how many cars there are altogether on that particular street. And that comes to 51 cars. So the total number of cars owned is 51. Right, brilliant. This is your last SSDD question now. The same table, same scenario. What is the median number of cars? Press pause, give yourselves a couple of minutes, and then we'll go for the answer. So in total, there are 30 houses. 30 houses in total. So, if I add 30, add 1, divide by 2, that will give me 15.5, which tells me that the middle value will be the 15.5th value. So the first column contains the first to the third value. The second column contains the 4th to the 9th value. And the third column contains the 10th value to the 27th value. And the last column contains the values from 28th to the 30th. So 3 values, 28, 29 and 30th values. So the 15.5th value would be in this particular column here, which is the number of cars equal to 2. So we can say the median number of cars is equal to 2. Right, brilliant. So I'm confident in you now that you can do some work by yourself. So working independently, can you have a go at worksheet 1, which you can find in Microsoft Teams under class resources and averages. Now it should take you approximately 20 minutes, so press pause whenever you're ready. Give yourselves about 20 minutes before you move on, please. Okay, so 20 minutes. Brilliant, well done. Fantastic. Now check your answers with those answers on the screen. Now for question number 1A, there are 2 parts. Because it's worth 2 marks, you will get 1 mark for 25.5 or 25th, and then the answer of 3. If you just write down 3 with no workings out, it will be worth 0 marks. So you must show your workings out if a question is worth more than 1 mark. Again, 1B and 2A are worth 1 mark each, so it's not necessary to show workings out. Also 3A is worth 1 mark, but 3B, the median question, is worth 2 marks, so you need to show 2 parts to the workings out to the question. And the answer should contain 12.5 and the answer of 1 to get 2 marks. Just writing 1 will get you 0 marks. Question 4 is worth 1 mark, and again you must get both parts right for question B to get your full 2 marks. Right, so in total that's 10 marks. If you can score yourself out of 10 please, and see how you got along. Right, the last average that we're going to look at today is the mean average. Now I've done this on purpose. I've left the mean till last, and the reason behind that is it can be quite tricky and does involve a few different steps. Give it a go by yourself to start off with. So here's a table for the frequency of scores. Press pause, give yourselves a couple of minutes and write down whether you think the answer is A, B, C or D. Now when working out the mean average for any table, we divide the total of the first column, which in this case is scores, by the total frequency. Right, so the total scores is not 2 add 3 add 4 add 5 add 6. The total scores would be 2 times 7, which is 14, plus 3 times 6, plus 4 times 4, plus 5 times 5, plus 6 times 6. And that gives me a total score of 109. And I divide total scores by the total frequency. That is 7, add 6, add 4, add 5, add 6. And that gives me a total frequency of 28. Again, the most common error here is dividing by 5. So therefore, the answer here, the average score, or the mean average score, would be to 1 decimal place 3.9, which is D. Okay, here's another question. What is the mean average for this particular table here, which shows the frequency of class sizes? Is your answer A, B, C or D? Again, press pause, give yourselves a couple of minutes. If you need longer, take longer, and then we can go for the answers. Right, so my mean average for this table would be the total number of students all together in all the classes divided by the total frequency. Again, I can't just do 18, add 19, add 20, add 21, add 22, add 23 to find the total students. I need to multiply by the frequency. So 18 times 1 plus 19 times 17 plus 20 times 18 plus 21 times 10 plus 22 times 3 plus 23 times 1. And that comes to a nice rounded number of 1000. And I divide that by the total of the frequencies. And if I add up the total frequency column, that comes to 50. And 1000 divided by 50 is equal to 20. So the mean average class size is 20. 20 pupils, 20 students in one class. Okay, so this particular table shows the frequency of particular ages. Your question is, what is the mean average for this table? You have a choice between A, B, C or D. Press pause, give yourselves a couple of minutes to go through it. Remember, you must show your workings out. So the mean average for this table would be the total ages of everybody divided by the total frequency, how many there are all together. So 11 times 6 is 66, 12 times 7 is 84, 13 times 5 is 65, 14 times 7 is 98. 15 times 3 is 45. And 16 times 2 is 32. Right, so the total of all the ages is 300 and... Now let's work out the total of the frequency. That means how many pupils we could say there are altogether. Right, so there are 30 pupils altogether. So my mean would be 390 divided by 30, and that is equal to 13. So the average age for this table would be 13 years old. Right, now, can you click on the link for the Kahoot, which is your assignment for this particular topic, to test your understanding? And again, you must use your real names. If you don't use your real names, I won't know how confident you are in this particular topic, and whether you need additional support. Again, it should take you about 20 minutes, and then we'll go through the last part of the lesson. Right, fantastic guys, well done. So the last thing I want to do with you guys today is exam practice. So the particular question I've chosen is taken from an AQA exam paper and tests your knowledge of mean averages from a table. Right, here we go then. So the table shows information about the marks of 30 students in a test. Students who scored less than the mean mark have to retake the test. How many students have to retake the test? Again, it's worth 3 marks. So you must show your workings out to get your 3 marks. Just writing the answer won't get you the full marks, and it may even get you 0 marks. So press pause, give yourselves about 5 minutes, and then we'll go for the answer once you're finished. Right, brilliant, well done guys. So now the mean mark would be the total number of marks divided by the total frequency, or how many pupils there were altogether. And in this particular question, we don't need to calculate because it tells us that there are 30 students who took the test. So all we really need to calculate is how many marks those 30 students got in total. Again, don't forget to multiply, so the first column, or row I should say, is 14 times 2, which is 28. That means the 2 pupils who got 14 marks got a total of 28 marks. 10 pupils got 15 marks, so in total they had 150 marks. 2 pupils got 16 marks each, in total they have 32 marks. 3 pupils got 17 marks each, a total of 51. Okay, and 13 pupils got 18 marks each, a total of 234. So let's go and add them up. Right, so that comes to a total of 495 marks in total. So 495 divided by 30 gives me an answer to this question as 16.5 marks. Now that's the mean, sorry, not the answer to the question. So using that mean, I can work out how many students have to retake the test. So everyone who got less than 16.5 has to retake the test. That means there are in total 14 pupils who have to retake that test. So as it's worth 3 marks, 1 mark would be for getting the total of the marks. It's 1 mark. You can write it either there or there. Your second mark would be for working out the mean average. And your last mark would be to write down how many students had to retake the test. Fantastic, well done guys. So that's averages from frequency tables complete. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below or in Microsoft Teams. Have a safe and healthy week, and I will see you next week. Well done.